Welcome back to Quick Theological Thoughts. I'm Howard Fisher, and in this podcast, I want to interact with Christopher Hitchens' answer to a question that you've heard it argued that Christians are looking at the world and going, we're taking something out of our public life. How can you take this away? How can you take Christianity away? And the atheists and the secularists are always saying, we're not taking anything away. We're not doing that. And that's just stupid. Nobody's taking away your religious beliefs. Nobody's taking your right to worship. Nobody's doing any of this stuff. So let's just play the video and you'll see what I'm talking about here.
How you can justify wanting to take something away that gives meaning to 95% of the American people and replace it with something that gives meaning to just 5% of the American people?
Well, what an incredibly stupid question.
See, it's an incredibly stupid question because the secularist believes, and it's just complete arrogance. They don't see their worldview as trumping somebody else, but they do, right? They don't see their worldview as religious, but it is. They don't see their worldview as dominating everything, but it is. They see themselves as perfectly neutral. Like this, we're just looking in the public sphere, we just want neutrality. You can worship in private, but in the public, no. So immediately we start off with, it's just a stupid question. We're not taking anything away.
First, I've said repeatedly that this stuff cannot be taken away from people. It is their favorite toy, and it will remain so, as Freud said, as long as we're afraid of death.
Okay, so it's our favorite toy. Religion is our favorite toy, and we need to keep religion out of the public sphere. It's just, you can go home and we're not taking it away from you. You can have it in your home. You can have it in your private life. You can have it in church on Sundays, but you can't have it in our schools and our public and in public discourse and at the state level or in law. Why? We're looking around our culture today, and Christians are, we're getting more and more like, holy cow, more and more people who claim to be Christian, who are nominal Christians, who are looking around their neighborhoods and going, we're at each other's throats in ways we've never been before. Well, that is the result of Christianity because we don't control the public schools. We don't control any of this stuff. What's happening is this secularism of the day is running its course, and we're coming to a head. We're coming to the conclusion of secularism, and people are going, we don't want, this is crazy. And that's what's happening. And what you do is you just mock them down intellectually. We're not taking anything away from you. You're stupid.
Second, I hope I've made it clear that I'm perfectly happy for people to have these toys and to play with them at home and hug them to themselves and so on and share them with other people who come around and play with the toys. So that's absolutely fine. They are not to make me play with these toys.
Nobody in Christianity is saying you have to be a Christian. Nobody in Christianity, I mean, I'm sure there's that one, but there's nobody saying you have to play with our toys in the sense of what we do in church on Sunday. We wouldn't want to. But is there a role of Christianity in public life? Of course there is, right? I'll bet Christopher Hitchens and I could stand shoulder to shoulder and say murder is wrong. But when I say, standing next to him, by the way, Christopher Hitchens, murder is wrong because Jesus is Lord and there is no other grounding for it whatsoever. So I want to enshrine into law in the public square at the level of the state government that murder is wrong. And it's only wrong because Jesus Christ said so. Now, can we agree that murder is wrong? Of course. But if you tell me I got to take that which I'm hugging to myself and take it back into the corner somewhere or share it with my friends, but not in the public, not in the public sphere of law, Why? What other grounding for law is there? Well, because we're all, you come up with all these ridiculous secularist reasons, but there's no grounding there. It's just pure baloney. It's purely made up.
I will not play with the toys. Don't bring the toys to my house. Don't say my children must play with these toys.
But we do. You do demand that my children play with your toys, and I'm demanding that your children play with my toys on some level, right? Thou shalt not murder is a Christian belief, period. Thou shalt not steal is a Christian belief, period. You don't have anything else. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Is that right or wrong? Oh, it's a Christian belief. Should it be enshrined in the law? If you want a society that has any rationality at all, if you want a society that has any cohesiveness at all, if you want the basic structure for a society, which is the family, to thrive at all, you have to have something that's codified that says this is what the family even is by definition. That's a religious belief, by the way. I'll bet he believes slavery is immoral. It should be against the law. That's a Christian belief. He's borrowing from Christianity. Now he'll say, no, secularism is a foundation for slavery to be illegal. Why? Why? Just wet bags of stardust walking around, telling other wet bags of stardust walking around, you can't do slavery? It's not a matter of if there is a God ruling in our society. The question is, which one? This myth of neutrality, we Christians, we can't grant this. We cannot grant this denial, this suppression of the truth that some God exists as the Lord of the society that we live in. It's either an idol, right? For Christopher Hitchens, it's himself, it's man, right? On some and which man we don't know, right? But it's the classical liberal man. And why? Because he's a classical liberal, so he's God. Why not? Why not the terrorist man? Why not the Muslim man? Why not the Hindu man? Because secularism is God. Oh, so it's the secularist God. So some God is ruling the day. This myth of neutrality is fundamentally the problem, and we as Christians need to recognize there's no such thing, right? Romans 1:18 through 29, 25, 29. That God exists, and Jesus Christ is Lord, and he's Lord of all the earth. And blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, right? So the truth is Christians are going out, and if the whole world, let's say, like he said, like the questioner asked, what if 95% of the world becomes Christian, thoroughly believing Christians, right? We believing the Bible, believing God's word, believing that Jesus is Lord, believing from their hearts that we need to embrace God's law to govern us. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not lie, right? Thou shalt not bear false witness. Things like that. Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's whatever. So how do we do that? So the question becomes, what's the role of the state? All those kinds of things. And that would be the nation, that would fulfill the promises all throughout the Bible that the nations would come to God. Right? So if that's true, and why should secularism be allowed to stop that? That's what this questioner is asking, and this answer doesn't deal with any of that. Doesn't deal with the presuppositions that this guy is asking. Doesn't deal with the reality that's going on around us. Doesn't deal with the reality that's in our educational system. Doesn't deal with the neo-Marxism that's running rampant and the woke culture. Doesn't deal with anything. Just asserts some kind of classical liberalism, and that's where we as Christians have to argue this.
Enough with clerical and religious bullying and intimidation. Is that finally clear?
Religious bullying? but he's not. You're a big jerk. You're stupid.
Have I got that across?
In your thick little religious skull, you little religious wimp. Don't you understand you're a little turd? Is your intellect so small you can't understand what's being said to you? No, we know what's being said to us, and we believe it's a lie. That's what we're saying. We don't believe you.
Thank you.
You're not welcome. And I feel bad for Christopher Hitchens. I feel sorry for a guy like that. He went to his death believing in secularism, and now he is lost and apart from Christ. And it's too short of a life for us Christians to stand by and go, oh yeah, he just put me into my corner. He just told me I'm intellectually stupid. And no, we're looking around us and we see a world on fire, and it's time to put it out. And secularism isn't going to do it. So I agree with the questioner, even if he wasn't able to get his point across or debate it. And there are Christians who have debated Christopher Hitchens, and you can go and watch them. But anyway, it's my thoughts for the day. God bless. Be good.